Eruptions, emotions, and triggers. Here's what you need to know for the week beginning December 4th, 2017. Hi guys, it's Michelle Patterson here with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading for the week beginning December 4th, 2017. I may be trying something a little bit different here. I'm going to start off with an auto-write message, and then we will get into the cards. I will separate them out and leave timestamps for you. That way you can just go to whatever section you would like to go to. Now, if you'd like to get a personal reading, remember these are general readings. If you want to get a personal reading with me, just go to my website at angelsouls444.com. the services page. If you want to check out my courses on Gumroad, I also have some meditations over there as well. All that information is down below. And of course, if you'd like to support me on Patreon, that information is down below as well. So let's get into it here. Let's talk about the auto writing. So this is, a little bit of an interesting message that came through. It felt more like it was on a worldwide stage. So I'm just going to start from the beginning here. One of the first things that came out was smoke, and there was this image of like billowing smoke coming out. Now, that can mean a lot of different things for each individual. For a worldwide stage, that could literally mean that, something is going to be on fire, or there's going to be smoke, there's going to be a plume, there's going to be something like that. But on an individual level, this could mean the smoke is clearing. And I do feel like there's sort of this dichotomous thing. So there's something happening out in the world, but for you as an individual, again, just getting out of the fog. Or there might be some things for a few of you, maybe they're actually showing me 23. So maybe 23% of the audience watching this, it could be that something is unclear for you, but it's teaching you something. There's something that is going to get resolved out of it. So a big message here to begin with is don't jump to conclusions. If you are not clear on a certain situation in your world, try to get the information before you explode or erupt, because those were the words. It was emotions, triggers, eruption. They did actually show me an image of a volcano erupting. Now, again, that could be metaphorical, or that could actually happen somewhere in the world. Okay, so some of the other things that came on here says we ask these questions. There's going to be a lot of this, like, why does this happen? why is this person acting this way? Or why am I not clear on this? That smoke feeling, like, why can't I see through this situation? Why can't I move forward in the way that I want? And it felt like the message that was coming through had a lot to do with us spending more time pondering the why than doing action. And so this would be a great time to get very, very centered, get into your inner knowing, okay? Pump that up. We have Metatron come forward, and Metatron helps with the third eye, with your intuition, okay? So that's something to definitely think about. So yeah, the other thing here that I wrote down here, it said world dictates, rules bursting. And we're already seeing that in a couple of areas in the world where we're not going by the old dictates anymore. Don't you tell us how it needs to be. We have a voice. We're going to speak up. It's going to go down kind of thing. So watch as people actually find their empowerment, okay? So they're even saying now striking back. Now, that's not an encouragement for us to strike back, but I think we will be seeing that out in the world. So some things that are coming up within the world, again, as a whole, we have fears, abandonment, what is to come. It's sort of this panicked feeling, okay? Now, we'll get on to the next page because they continue on with this message where they're saying you don't need to worry so much, okay? It says a new way, but destruction of old. So really what it sounds like people are getting really hyper about is change, right? Like things are not the way they used to be and they can't see the path in front of them and therefore they're kind of like, freaking out. So then it gets into, and I'll just read this to you. It says, Metatron here, fear not, for these things are only a mirage. I should explain this. In auto writing, first of all, my writing's very sloppy. I don't usually write like that. But I'll kind of go in and out of having my eyes closed and kind of opening them and then closing them again. So it gets sort of like scratched out. So the way it comes through sometimes doesn't always make sense, but we'll explain it here in a moment. So it says, Metatron here, fear not, for these things are only a mirage. Okay? So whatever's happening out there that might get you all riled up, even if it's like angry, something happens that makes you very, very angry, remember, this is there to just trigger you and you don't have to give into it. Okay? All right, where were we? These are by human hands to frighten the many. You will discover your resolve. We are here and looking out for you. I can't read my own handwriting. This often happens with this because, like I said, it gets all scratched out. Your concerns are many, yet we show you how this must be. And what they're saying with that is like, you humans are constantly looking for the worst case scenario and you're waiting for the trauma to come. You're waiting for the hurt because that has been a part of the human story for so long. But we are here to show you the way. You need not fear. Even if it on the surface is like, okay, no, this is really bad. Okay, they are still there looking out for us. Remember, the archangels especially, the ones that we know, they were assigned for this planet, for this existence, for us to be able to interact with them when we were ready, okay? When we got to a certain level and could do such things. They continue on. All will be made right again. Learn your individual human story. Understand your role. Meaning, keep your face out of everybody else's business. Focus on yourself. But what this also means is, I guess there's this pattern going on with humans trying to find like extraordinary meaning in their life, and they're defining it by very narrow rules, right? Like a very narrow definition of what brings your life meaning. When in actuality, you just showing up and breathing, you're already in your story. So your story is already precious. You don't have to strive. You don't have to reach to make something happen in order for your life to mean something. It already does, okay? Only you can be you. You have a precious place in the universe. Okay, let's see here. Understand your role. Explosive behaviors may rattle many, but fear not, fear not, fear not. I said it 3 times. Fear not, fear not, fear not. Never forget the opposite. Love can carry these things away. Turmoil and distress may come, but it will go as quickly. And then it was ... will go, strengthen, and then end. So this is not a time for us to get in our ego. And as promised, I will be bringing up that reload video, but I really wanted to collect my thoughts on that about ego in the spiritual community. But just us as humans, whether you believe this stuff or not, I do actually have viewers who come here and they don't believe in esoteric arts. That's cool. You're absolutely welcome here, of course. But no matter what you're calling it, let's try to get out of this thing of, oh, I wish everybody could be as enlightened as me, right? It's not about that. Focus on your own story. This isn't encouraging you to be self-centered, but take accountability for what you're creating and the role that you're playing within the universe. And if you see something happening on the greater stage, you got the inside info, right? You kind of knew it was coming. These things must come to pass. Okay, so we'll leave it there for the channeled auto writing message, and let's get into the cards. All right, for the card decks we're going to be using this week, I'm going to be using the Ambika Waters Angel Oracle deck, and then of course the crystal cards, we will be pulling a card from that as well. If you guys would like me to bring back the color cards, I think I found them. I put them in a safe place, which means I might not be able to find them again, but if I can find them, you want me to incorporate that back into these readings, let me know down below. So, we had quite a message coming up, right? So I'm just clearing out the cards, and let's get to it. Okay, someone has a young man, it could be a son, it could be a brother, I don't know, but it's for someone out there, and they're very concerned about this person. It has to do with a motorcycle, so young man, motorcycle. Just tell this person to be extra cautious. I don't know that there's anything horrible that would happen, but it's just sort of like there's a message of taking off. Now, for some of you, that might sound like, oh my gosh, that is totally me. Like my son takes off on his motorcycle and I never know where he is. Or my husband takes off on his motorcycle and I never know where he is. But that for everybody else can be, there could be some symbols in that message for you as well. So motorcycles have two wheels. There's a sense of freedom. Here in the U.S., we associate motorcycles with rebellion. You know what I mean? So think about what that means for you. Hitting the open road, youth, vitality, all those things are coming up. Okay. And they're showing me that plume of smoke again. Now, please don't let this scare you, okay? You know, I mean, it is what it is. We'll get into it. All right. The guardian angel of creativity. Remember, that plume of smoke, I think a lot of people might think of horrible things with that, like something blew up. It doesn't have to be that. It could be that, you know, you're clearing away something so that something else can come in. And then we already have this card about creativity. So this could be speaking to, you know, creating a new chapter, taking, again, that word accountability, taking accountability for what's going on in your world. And then we have Gabriel, who's all about creativity. Okay, so here we go. The angel of eternal love. Remember the opposite. If you watched the auto writing message before you watched the card reading, you'll know we went into that. Okay. And Raphael. See how we have two archangels? I pulled 4 cards. We have 2 archangels popping up here. So this might be a week where we might feel like we need to be a little fortified. All right. Please, I can't stress this enough. Please don't go into this coming week with this sense of foreboding. That only makes things worse. That's like somebody, you know, something's going down and someone's going, oh, I can't handle it. I'm just going to walk away. No, all hands on deck, get back here. Okay, it's like, no. So remember that if you really take care of yourself, remember you're going to be focusing on your own human story. If you are fortified within yourself, you can call on the angels, of course, as we will see. But if you do all that, you'll be able to play your part, whatever that might be for each and every one of you. Again, I have to say, these are just general readings. If you want to know what this journey is going to be like for you personally, you might want to get a personal reading, okay? And angel readings, I've been saying for a very long time, they're very different, probably than from any other reading that you've ever gotten, okay? All right, so the first card we have is the guardian angel of creativity. Guarding the gate of creation. is going down. It's going down, but it doesn't involve us humans as much as some people might think that it's going to involve us. So there are things probably going on behind the scenes, so to speak, but it's not something we need to necessarily concern ourselves with. There are beings that were created to protect us in that way. So, let them do their job. Okay? Just let them do their job. So the guardian angel of creativity says, creative energy flows from me the more I choose to express my feelings. Okay, so as we're coming back into the human story, and we have Raphael in here as well, and we have Gabriel. So this could be a lot of healing, a lot of realizing that certain things that have been a hang up for you, whatever that might be, that you're discovering what they are, and you're discovering that they don't need to have power over you. Have you ever seen the movie Labyrinth, or The Labyrinth, or whatever? I think David Bowie was in it. Spoiler alert, if you plan on watching this old movie from the 80s, then click away. But I'm going to tell you at the end, the whole stinking thing of the movie is it's Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer Connelly? I may not know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the whole thing is that she realizes, oh, you have no power over me. And it disrupts and destroys the whole labyrinth, right? So this is that kind of energy that's going on this week. Like there could have been something that you felt you were prisoner to, and then you realize it ain't that serious. Or maybe it is that serious, but it doesn't need to destroy me. Okay. So the creative energy, we've got to let that be flowing. And the more you admit your feelings to yourself, the more these blocks can flow away, the more it's all about just like removing the boulders so that the river can flow, right? Okay, so that's that card. Let me just pop it up here for you for a second. I will be putting some overlays so that you guys can see the cards a little bit better. All right, so the next card is the Archangel Gabriel. All right, I am made whole by the message of love, brotherhood, and freedom. There's the motorcycle. Freedom, doing that whole thing. Brotherhood. That's an important thing too. One of the things we're going to talk about in the reload video is how people will use spirituality to put themselves above other people. But that's not appropriate, okay? It's not about segregation. It's about coming together. It's about union. It's about understanding heart to heart, soul to soul, okay? So let the understanding of brotherhood really blossom for you this week. You don't have to put a big concerted effort into it, but if you're open, right? Removing, why can't I talk? If you're open and you're removing the blocks, things can flow, then here you go, okay? This could also be artistic inspiration. This could be new ideas coming to you if you have, just on a more mundane level, if you're trying to figure out a new career path or, getting creative about how to communicate, because Gabriel's all about communication, how to communicate with a loved one or how to tell somebody how you feel. There you go. Okay, so you can have this, I don't want to use the word magical. Not that there's anything wrong with magic. I love me some magic too. But we can't let magical thinking make us avoid. Okay, magical thinking can become a toxic drug. Okay, if you're not careful with it. So Gabriel's in here to help you feel nurtured, to help you get through this time, but also to help you see where you can let some stuff go and how you can be open and honest with other people. I would call Michael in on that as well. Now, this is reconciliation for some people. And again, I watch Shane Dawson a lot. Just adore him. I think he's just amazing. He's so cute. But he actually just reconciled with his father. And that's a perfect example because that's the kind of energy that we have here. And if you watch his video about reconciling with his father, his dad seems like a cool guy. And they actually have this beautiful moment together. So this thing that I hope Shane is okay with me using him as an example. Not that he would ever see this, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I mean no disrespect, but the whole thing is that he had this father issue hanging over his head, and then he finally just took the step, and there it was. They probably have a long road ahead of them, but it didn't seem from the video that it was such an awkward interaction or that it went well, it seemed. Again, that's all we know from the video. But that's that kind of energy for this week. So some of you might be reconciling with somebody that, the very thought of them really hurt you and you were angry at them, and then you realize there's another side to the story. Communication, going back and forth, fostering an understanding, basically. Okay, which can bring you to peace with other people. The angel of eternal love is the next card. As I let love in, it stays in my soul forever. Remember the opposite of fear, okay? when you let love in, when you open yourself up to love, to life, to people, to brotherhood, really nice things can happen. That needs to be the focus of this week. And then, of course, goes right into the archangel Raphael, who's all about healing, who's all about the heart space, the heart chakra, okay? Loving one another. Be cool to one another, right? All right. So it says, I am strengthened and healed by the power of divine love. Don't let yourselves get pulled off course this week, okay? And it might be very tempting to be like, oh, I know exactly what you are talking about. There's this one person who drives me nuts and they That's not divine love. That's not brotherhood. That's not being compassionate towards one another. And I know it can be hard. I know it can be hard. A lot of you guys know I come from a pretty rough past. And, you know, people have asked me, like, why do you react the way that you do? It's because I feel so raw sometimes. Not anymore. I've healed through that. But, you know, like, when you have experienced things like traumas or any kind of troubled past or anything that might have just, think of a person who's severely bruised, okay? If you touch them, they're going to be like, ow, you know, you're like, God, I just touched you. What's the problem? But the thing is like they're coming from a very different sense of sensitivity than somebody else's. So even if somebody comes off as like, you know, like really snippy or whatever, I'm not encouraging you to make excuses for bad behavior. Sometimes people just have a bad attitude and they just want to take their anger out on everybody else because they think that they have a right to. That's not what we're talking about. If you're really in tune with your intuition, we were talking about Archangel Metatron at the beginning of the reading, your intuition will guide you. And you might, again, it's all about this deeper understanding, things crumbling and falling away, and maybe even communicating with somebody and being like, what is kind of going on here? You know, what have you experienced in your past, if they're open to sharing that with you, right? So that's the energy we have going on here. It's just a lot of facing things, opening up, healing. Guys, it's really good, but it is not going to come without work. So the more you can fall in love with the feeling of working, right? It's not like it's going to be hard and that you have to force it. We're not going there. But it is going to take a little thinking. It's going to take a little bit of your energy to move through this. All right, so let's get on to this crystal card and let's see what is the final thought on this reading. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm seeing a star system and it's connected by lines. Okay, so this is almost like as if somebody were to draw constellations in the sky. You know, when astronomers will put the formation of the stars or wherever they are, and then they draw the lines and stuff like that. That's kind of what it looks like, but it's glowing. So take that as you will. I think it's going to be different for every single person. If that means something very specific to you, or if that sparked something within you, leave it in the comment section down below. I do want to say one other thing before I pull the crystal card. What I've been doing in my personal readings is that I'm encouraging my clients to have a pen and paper handy, to not only write down the things in the message that maybe it doesn't resonate right in the moment, but you kind of feel like you need to know that. Write it down, see how things play out. I think it's also an effective tool if something triggers you. Okay, so if you're watching these videos and you're like, oh my gosh, that made me so mad that Michelle said that, write it down and journal about it. Ask yourself, why did that trigger me? Or conversely, if it made you giddy and you're like, why the heck am I getting so excited about that? Jeez. You know, write it down, because, you know, you getting giddy about something, you being excited about something in the message could open the doors, could open some deeper understanding about what path you're supposed to be on, or, you know, what really brings you joy in your life. All right. So you have calcite, relaxation, and I'm going to pull a second one because two of them wanted to come out. Sunstone, empowerment. All right. So you'll see that these kind of have sort of an orangey hue, the two of these cards, and that it depends on who you talk to, but these can kind of signify Archangel Gabriel. So because Gabriel is associated with the sacral chakra, the emotional body, creativity, you know, creation, being pregnant, you know, things like that. So sunstone with the calcite, I think, is saying when we relax a little bit here, and that's really what the angels have been trying to get us to do, just relax. I know there are disturbing things going on in the world. There could be things going amiss within your individual lives. But when we relax into it, we understand, okay, I don't need to make a big deal out of this, all right? I am empowered. Whatever happens, I can handle it. I have the capacity to handle it. Don't allow yourselves to get so insecure or intimidated by not knowing something that you forget that you can learn it, okay? You always have that option. If something has always been a block for you, you can learn how to get past it, or you can learn what it means, or you know what I'm saying? There's a way for growth and expansion this week. It's starting very small, okay? So it might just be a journaling exercise where you get some realization out of it, or what have you. But a lot of potential for this week to make big changes, all right? You may not see the result of those changes right away, but you're getting it going this week. All right, so we'll leave it there, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. And of course, as always, I'm sending you so much love. Take care. So let's get on to the crystal card. Oh, really? Okay, life. Oh, come on. Oh man, now they're all over the place. Okay. Ugh, no. Ugh, okay. That's the second time I almost dropped these. What's the deal?